Hey, welcome. So today what we're going to do is we're going to work on sketching the head from different angles. And I'm doing this all from imagination. Um, it really becomes intuitive after you do this multiple times. So just practice, follow along. I'm going to show you a couple tips and tricks to make it a little bit easier for you. Something to keep in mind. So here you see we have three heads. We have one front facing here. We have a 3/4 view here, and then we have a profile here, right? And so if we want to simplify things, let's go ahead and we'll get rid of this layer here. I've gone ahead and I've kind of pre-sketched in this one shape that you can use for any face. Now you can change the size and the parameter of this shape, but ultimately every face that you draw can be within these blue guidelines. So just to give you a closer look at this, this is the shape. So we have an eye line right here. We have a center line. And then within bordering the eye line, we have the bottom here, which would be the cheekbone, which kind of connects with the eye sockets, right? And then here we have the nose area, which drops down to the mouth. Now from here down, we have the jawline. And you can see this is a very crude demonstration, but you get the gist. So let's do a quick demo on this. Okay, so I will, let's see, I'll choose a pencil. Okay, this is fine. Let's lower the opacity. All right, so if we were going to draw a face in here, let's do 3/4. So we know that this guideline here in the middle is going to be where our eyes fall. We also know that this V shape here is going to be where our cheekbone and eye sockets start. We also know that here in the center is where the nose is going to start. So one thing that I'm doing, and a lot of times I'm doing this mentally, I'm not actually sketching these lines, but for the sake of instructing, I'll show you what's going on in my thought process. So I will go ahead and imagine that, all right, we have our top of our eye sockets here, and then we have our bottoms here. I'll lightly draw them in. And then around this region, we have the area where our nose begins, right? Kind of goes like this. So then we can shape this. Since it's going 3/4, we're going to see that our nose is going to cross over this center line. It's going to be on the other side of the center line. And then maybe around, let's say, okay, look at that little dimple mark, indentation underneath your nose between that and the upper lip. Try to mimic that distance, and then this is where your mouth, your upper lip would start. So you can put your mouth right around here. Now, a rule of thumb, depending on how wide the character's face is, if it's a narrow face, you'll have a more narrow mouth. If it's a longer face, you'll have a narrow mouth. But if it's a wide, blockier face, then you can add some width to that mouth. You can also think of underneath this line here, imagine that it just continues, right? And it circles around. So imagine that there's a circle here, and then we have our teeth, right? Following that. And then our lower teeth following that, right? So what we can do is put a basic mouth line right here. Inside the eye sockets, let's just go ahead and put a shape of an eye. Now this could be any shape, depending, all eyes come in different shapes and sizes. On the other side, you see the distance between this nose here and your eye? Well, on the other side, since this head is a 3/4 view, we're going to see less distance between the eye and the nose, and we're going to see less of the eye, depending on how far the head is turned in the opposite direction. So you can see that there's not as much distance here. Now we can connect, we can start shaping in things here. Draw a chin, go up to the jawline. We know that the ear, center of the ear is going to fall right around here, because imagine if this character is wearing glasses and the arm of those glasses fall on the upper part of the ear. Right? And then here we can just draw the shape of a head. Now, this back side of the head, imagine if you just drew a line straight down, you can draw a neck. And then for the chin, you can go in about 2 or 3/4 and draw your neck there. Now, again, all of this is going to vary based on who you're drawing. If you're drawing a hulkish character, he might not have any neck. If you're drawing a Captain America or a big, bulkier, stronger, heroic character, he might have a wider neck, like Superman. It might, or Wolverine. He's more of a short and stout character, so he might have a neck that starts, up here, right? And so these are things that you have to figure out while you're, based on who you're drawing. So there's no one size fits all, but there is a one rule that fits all. And once you know these rules, you can break them, right? So now we have a head shape, and we can just create, whatever we want here. We can put in some eyes in the middle. So let's say we want to make these eyes a little smaller. Put an eyeball here. See, I'm putting everything center. Eyeball here. You can put an eyelid. And don't worry, this is not your final sketch. This is your underdrawing, right? So this could be sloppy. It could be messy. This is the stuff that no one really sees in the end. This is your blueprint. Put an underlip here. Chin. And then another thing that I like to do, just for measurements. Now, I do a lot of this in my head, or if I'm quickly sketching and I'll erase it later. I know that right around between this point and this point, there's going to be a muscle that's going to curve in towards the jaw. And then this same muscle is going to go towards the inside area of the eye, right? And now we don't see that. This is underlying. This is strapped over the skull, but beneath the skin. So a lot of times this isn't visible. There might be certain indications of it, like this area here. And then you can do the same thing over here. Now you can erase all this later. This is just a guideline for you. Same thing with this upper area here. You can kind of loop this in to give you more depth and showing that your skull is more three-dimensional. Now, in terms of eyebrows, we can draw an eyebrow way up here, which travels along his eye socket. But remember, there's a layer of skin with lots of muscles there, right? So if he were angry, he could easily drop this eyebrow down. Remember, your face is full of different muscles and skin layers and fat and all these things that make us it's biological, and it gives us character. It gives us emotions. It's a language all on its own, right? So now we have this face here, and we could take this face and we can modify it and go even further. So let's say that I wanted to lower the opacity, which is the equivalent, if you're drawing on traditional paper and pencil, just erase it and leave that ghost of a sketch behind. And then let's go ahead and lower the opacity of this and this. And actually, we don't even need the blue anymore. so now we have our basic under drawing for our face. So we could turn this face into any one we want. We can. So let me show you with an example. Okay. So now we can actually start drawing. So we have a blueprint under here. Now we can start. Let's work on this eye a little bit. Just make it look a little bit more detailed. And you could do the same exact thing with pencil and paper, which is what I prefer to draw on. So this is easier, using digital art, and I'm using Procreate with my iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. It's a little easier to demonstrate because it's clear. You're not looking at a camera over my shoulder. You're seeing what I'm seeing. And so for the sake of demonstration, I think this works out well. So a couple things that I'm keeping in mind as I'm drawing are, age of the character. How old is this character? Is he young? Is he older? Is he heroic? Is he a villain? What kind of subtleties do we want to add to this character to kind of bring him out and contrast him more? So now I have this shape. I have this. I have his eyes in. We can draw in some eyeballs. And then we don't have to draw this whole line here. We can just hint and jump over. And sometimes, that's better artistically, and it's also a better communication with the mind of the viewer. Because our subconscious mind, it enjoys putting things together. So this is especially true when we're drawing muscles. You don't have to show every single muscle connected to the next muscle, unless that's part of your character design. But in general, you can just show, certain attributes of that muscle and kind of elude your eye to look for and put things together. Okay, so now we've got a facial structure, and let's go ahead and I'll add this little muscle here. I'll add the little indentation in the chin. I'll add his neck, and I will curve this neck, and I will give him kind of this muscle here that connects to the back of the neck, and it also connects over here. And then I will draw in his ear. And ears, again, don't get too hooked on how to draw an ear. What we're looking for is shapes. And what I always tell my students is, think in shapes and then come back and refine your drawing after you've placed all your shapes. Okay, so now we have a 3/4 view of a head, and we can take it further. You can start adding hair and stuff like that, or you can keep them bald. It's really up to you. This is your character design. Let's move over and let's go ahead and work on this one to the right of him. Now this is a profile shot, and this might be unfamiliar with a lot of people on how to draw profile sketches. Let's get rid of this one. And okay, so we have this layer here, and then let's go ahead and darken in this one. Okay, and so profile, same rules apply. Let's look at our time here. Where are we? We are at 14 minutes. Okay, we can do this. All right. Same rules apply. What we want to do is we want to establish where our eyes will be. Now, if our nose is somewhere around here, then we want to inset our eye somewhere around this region. Now remember that line that goes to the center of the 1/4 into the jawline. So I will just draw that line straight down. Now I know that this jaw that I have drawn here is too small, so I will go ahead and reshape in size. And remember, we're not really caring about this underdrawing here. This is just for our blueprint. And we know that our ear is going to fall. Actually, I'm going to raise it up a little bit. It all depends on the shape of the character's head too, and how big, you know, like if you have a Wolverine who has more of a boxier head, well, proportions will change, but the rules won't. Okay, so now we have an underdrawing, and here's that little muscle I was talking about going up under here. Then here's where we can curve out and add 3 dimensions. We have our ear. So you can see that things are coming together. So here we go. We'll do this one more time. So we'll take away this blue. We'll just lower the opacity. We'll keep this here for a guide. We'll lower the opacity on this one. So again, it's just like erasing and just leaving the lines kind of vaguely there so you can follow along and use them as guidelines. And then what we'll do is we will create a face. So let's go ahead and dive in. I like to start with the eyes a lot of times just to kind of capture the essence and mood of the character. And then I know that this eyebrow is going to wrap around because you're thinking in shapes, and you know that this is a skull and it's a spherical shape. So you want to wrap those eyebrows around. I'll add another eyebrow over here, just a faint, hint of an eyebrow. And then under here, I'll add his nose with a nostril. And I'm not trying to get this perfect because I'm really just drawing super fast here. Just to show you, because you could take what I'm giving you here and you can go practice and you'll have your own style. It's just like handwriting, so don't try to mimic what I'm doing. Just learn the rules of what I'm showing you and then apply them to your own style, right? It's just like drawing the letter A and E and Z. It's, that what the letters look like, but your handwriting is going to be different than someone else. Okay, so now we have a facial structure, and we can add an eyeball if we want to. So we can either make them looking at us, or we can make them looking ahead. Or we can even give them no eyeball. It's really up to us. We can play around with this as much as we want. Now you can even turn this character into someone else. I mean, you have kind of a shell of a character here. So whatever you want to do, it's really up to you. Let's see. Maybe I'll switch to, let's say, black, and let's go ahead and lower that opacity, lower this a little bit more, and get rid of this this one here. Okay, so now we have even more of a clean slate to work with, and we'll go ahead and add one more layer. Okay, so let's say we wanted to make a masked character, and we are running on let's see, where are we at here, almost 20 minutes. I don't like to make the videos this long, but it's okay. Let's say that we want to make a masked character. So what I'll do is I'll just lay in some guidelines here. Now I'm imagining it. This is a mask. I don't know who this character is yet. I was thinking could make him Batman, could make him Wolverine. It really doesn't matter because this is just practice. If we wanted Wolverine, we would just add some hair here. Uh, Wolverine has this kind of a shape like this. We would get rid of that ear altogether. Right? And then there you go. A masked character. But ultimately, what I'm really trying to teach you is not how to draw a masked character. It's how to think in shapes and quickly modify your sketch. And you know, because the name of the game when you're sketching, especially if you start doing this professionally, is you really want to be able to produce work pretty quickly. Because if you're under the crunch of a deadline, you know, even if you're doing commissions for a client, you know, you want to be able to pump these out as quick as you can in order to keep going and keep producing more art, because ultimately you're going to get better when you create momentum and you have more experience. And when you start finalizing and finishing sketches, you know, you're just going to get better and better every single time, to the point where all this stuff becomes, you know, second nature for you. Anyway, I hope that this helps. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like me to help you with. And, you know, I think actually, you know what? Before I go, I think I was doing a class on this before, and I think I had another sketch. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah. So here, I broke it down here too. And you can see that, you know, I just took my blue pencil and I just kind of placed where things go. For, you know, this is my style. This is how I like to place my faces. And you'll figure all this out for yourself. But in the meantime, you know, just take this information I've given you and practice. And I'll be making a lot of these here in the near future. So if there's something that you want me to create, or, you know, something that you're struggling with and you want some help, let me know in the comments, and I will make if I get enough requests for that, I will make a quick video to show you how to get past those sticking points. All right, my name is Mike Van Orden, and I'm the founder of Comic Art Mastery. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video, and good luck. Keep going. You got this.